But why are you handling it?
Why? Because in my situation, I was able to be home more often.
But that's not your. See, listen to what I'm about to say. You said the women are problem with their femininity and they're being too masculine, but you're in her territory. What you just described was a man who was not in his masculine. You were in the feminine space. You can't be tripping that a woman treated you like a woman in her space.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm well. How old are you?
35.
All right. And what are women getting wrong today?
I think it's the feminine aspect. In general, I was married for 6 years. I have 2 kids out of that marriage, and from what I see, most of the time, in relationships past that and with that, it's just that feminine side of things. They want to kind of take over at a certain point when a man tries to allow them to have a voice, allow them to, try to make some decisions together and do some things, and just the nagging overall.
Okay. Let's make it clear. Are you saying that women have a problem with the feminine aspect? Or are you saying, it sounds like you're saying women are being masculine?
Yes, women are being too masculine. Absolutely.
All right. And then you said something about when you allow them to, say again, when you allow them to what?
To have more of a say-so in the
more of a say-so in what regard?
I would say just in the aspect of they want certain things to transpire, like maybe you helping out with certain aspects of the child care, or you helping out with certain aspects of just around the house things.
Well, I don't understand where a woman can be in her masculine by asking you to help with the kids. So I'm not being clear. What are you allowing her more latitude with that's in the masculine realm?
I would just say just feeling like they're the one in control of certain things.
Such as
with the kids. With the kids, or just
such as
let's say how the child should be bathed, or how the dishes should be washed, or where they should be put. It's the tone.
So I kind of understand where he's going, and once again, this is where men who claim to be men, or husbands who claim to be husbands, there's nothing wrong with helping out with the kids, helping out around the house. But if you're a guy who really is an active, working guy, providing, sustaining your household in terms of outside of the house, and you're paying all the bills, because a lot of you guys talk about wanting to be head of household, but you got the woman paying half of the bills, or you want her to work as well, pay half of the bills. You want her to take care of the kids and do everything, and you just don't want to do anything. Which that's not how it works. If you're out there and you're providing a certain lifestyle, and you're financially providing for the family, paying the bills, paying for everything in terms of everything that's required for your wife to be a homemaker, then a lot of these things shouldn't really be an issue, because you're providing the ability for a woman to be in her feminine, where she wouldn't really be complaining, because any hardship she may have financially, you should be able to take care of that. Now, if that's interfering with your work, then you may need to really have some communication and re-examine this and lay down some rules about how this is supposed to be working, because you can't really be that overall provider and doing every single thing as a homemaker as well, especially if you have a wife there. So it's all about the dynamic of that. There's nothing wrong. A man should be active with his children, but it shouldn't be basically you doing everything and she's just like, I don't want to change diapers right now. You got them for the week, and I'm just gonna hang out on the couch and watch Netflix. Nah.
What I'm not understanding, brother. That's the purview of women. Why do we have any input in that at all?
That's my thing. If the man is already handling the situation, but they
okay. But why are you handling it?
Why? Because in my situation, I was able to be home more often.
But that's not your. See, listen to what I'm about to say. You said the women are problem with their femininity and they're being too masculine, but you're in her territory. What you just described was a man who was not in his masculine. You were in the feminine space. And you can't be tripping that a woman treated you like a woman in her space.
So
just because you were home.
Not really home, but I mean...
It doesn't matter. That's her space. Women, let's say you were rich, right? You could still be home. You know, just like I know, women have a different way of nesting. They like the house to look a certain way. We're supposed to be responsible for the outside, and they're responsible for the inside. They like the pillows fluffed a certain way, this, that. And just because you can fluff a pillow, that's their job. You ain't asking her to cut the yard or edge it, are you? I mean, she could do it, but you know how to do it different. You're in her space.
And I would say also the aspect of being able to take in information. I heard what you said to the last person, you know, as the general, are you giving out, you know what I'm saying, the right orders and measuring those things. And I saw it as I aligned everything, you know, biblically, you know, as I was giving out, you know, those types of things. And, you know, she was submissive in the beginning.
Giving her information. What kind of information are you talking about then?
Information such as maybe different ways to handle finances.
Whose job is that to handle the finance?
I mean, we both handle them.
Okay, see, if you listen to me, this is a good conversation because you mentioned biblically, but I've mentioned this before. Oftentimes we overload our women doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. Did you have an abundance of finances?
Not at that time. Now.
All right, so that's a pressure situation. You're involving a mother in stressful financial decisions. Could you have handled them yourself?
Yeah, I think I could have handled them all.
Me personally, I've always, even as a youngin', I got married early on. I was married for quite some time. My wife never, even though she was a substantial portion, she was a homemaker. She stayed at home, took care of the kids. I still handled the financial aspect. I still paid all of the bills. I still made sure everything was paid. Even when I was in Afghanistan and she was back here in the States, I was still taking care of everything. All she had to do was take care of the kids. I know when I was in the military and even running into guys out here, I would hear them say so many times, I don't know what's going on with my bank account. My wife takes care of all that. My wife handles everything. She pays all the bills. She deals with all that. And I'm just like, wow, you know, you just leave everything. You don't know what's going on with your situation. They're like, nah, they really don't care. But maybe that's what works for them. But when it comes time where maybe one day there's a separation or you get drained or whatever have you, a man should know what's going on with his funds, his finances, so on and so forth. Because a lot of times, and it's not no shot at women unless there's really an understanding, women will spend money like it grows on trees because they don't actually make it. They don't really value it. Especially early on if they've never really had to work. They'll just spend it. Next thing you know, you're in the negative. She's like, we're in the negative. Or this got declined and there's really no budget or anything set. And a lot of guys I know have ended up in situations like that. So, and once again, that could be another burden, but it just all depends. Some guys just never really get financially savvy in terms of that or don't have a care. They would just rather have the woman. That's a household thing. I don't get into the money. That's a household thing. And some women are good at it. Some are just good at spending. But whatever your dynamic is, whatever works for you. But if you have to coach, like sounds like he was trying to tell her, his wife, and she was just like, I'm not used to that. I'm just used to spending it.
Myself,
Then you should have. We don't need, and I've done this myself too. That's why I said pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. See, what you've described is a situation where you're in places you shouldn't necessarily be in the best fit, and then places where you should be 100%, you're delegating. You should stay over here, and you let her be over there. If you can't handle the finances, then that's one thing. But if she's not better at it and more qualified, then your job is to go find somebody who's more qualified, because that's the security of the house.
Exactly.
And let her fluff the pillows. But see, you describe a situation where the house has overlapping roles. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't really work that well. I've been there. It doesn't work that well. I don't live that way now.
Right.
See, the problem...
He's correct. You can't have too many hands in the pot. It's good for you to know, just like any, and we will liken this to a job or a workplace once again. It's good for me to know how to do this. It's good for you to know what I do. But we shouldn't all be jumping into the same thing and not having structure and an understanding on how this should be a well-oiled machine at the end of the day. And that's what it should be.
That I agree. A lot of our women are in their masculine because too many of us are abdicating our masculine and giving to their area. So if you've ever, I don't know if you ever said Hispanic or Mexican friends, I was surprised to see.
I'm half Puerto Rican.
I was surprised to see how little the men they really did around the house. Even though they could do, black men would have been up doing this and doing that. When I went by my Mexican friend's house, the guys were in the guys' room and the women were doing it, and there was peace, happiness, joy, and little Coronas and shit. Yeah, man. So just think about it this way. Even though I have a client who's a multimillionaire, and they were having marital issues. And I told them they hadn't had sex for months. I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to get up in the morning and leave the house before the crack of dawn, and then you come back after it's dark. And don't tell your wife. Tell your wife you've been out checking on the businesses. I need you to do that for a week. And he called back off the Wednesday and said, oh my God, after a few days, she jumped on me. And we've been going at it like teenagers. And I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to go rent an office space and executive space and go put a PlayStation in there. But I need you to get up and go. Like you're leaving to go to work every day. He's like, why don't you do that? I'm a multimillionaire. Because your woman needs to see you go to work. Women do not need us in their space all the time. They want us away, even though we can be there. We need to give women.
And that's so true, man. You can't be on top of a woman all day. I don't mean that like literally, but I mean like you can't just be around a woman. A woman doesn't want you around all day. As much as she may give off that clingy thing, the fact that she's being clingy is because your absence isn't there. So that just attracts her more. You know, that absence makes the heart fonder, if you will. You create attraction a lot of times with your absence. So being a man, it's not natural for you to be up under or on top of a woman, however you want to call it, all day long. Be out there, have a hobby. Women don't want you around them. Have a hobby. Have some friends. Have something going on. And the same thing with dating. You have to have the appearance that you have something going on. Otherwise, she's like, damn, I'm the only thing he's got going on in life? Nah, she's not, no matter what age. That's just how it is.
Time to decompress. Time to miss us. Time to fart. Pick their nose. They human. Right. Time to talk shit with their friends on the phone.
Exactly.
And then come home and let her do what she has to do. You do what you got to do and kind of stay in our roles. Mm-hmm. I think you probably have better outcomes in your next situation if you just kind of keep that top of mind.
Yeah, and I've seen it, like you said, with women of other cultures. Just like you said, the submissiveness as well as, them wanting to cook dinner without you saying nothing. They got everything ready. They just move, in a different mindset of, what the roles are. The roles are clearly defined. And I think in my personal situation, those roles could not be clearly defined because of our backgrounds.
And so knowing that going forward.
And that's a complaint a lot of us make, men and women in our community, in the black community, that roles have been blended, roles have been swapped. You got men staying at home, women working, women taking care of men. A woman doesn't, as I covered on my previous video, a woman doesn't know, this young lady didn't know what a man is or what a husband is. Hence, she said, I'm going to put my children before my husband, even though my husband is the provider. And the fact that after I said that, I disagreed with her. She was like, well, I haven't seen a man that was able to take care of a woman, because my mother was with a man that wasn't able to take care of a woman, even though I'm currently pregnant with this guy and we're going half on the rent as well. So that's how I view men. And it's sad it's that way that our culture has turned into that when we look at so many other different cultures, and it's basically the children are reared and it hasn't been destroyed. That family dynamic hasn't been destroyed quite like ours. I don't think, matter of fact, when I think about it, I don't think anywhere in the world it's like ours. Ours is the most dysfunctional family dynamic overall because of the way the situation played out. And it's very unfortunate. And I don't know, as far as getting back to it, who knows?
As a man, what I would suggest doing is define them for yourself and understand that, is this the purview of the woman or more of the feminine or more of the masculine? Does it revolve in protection and provision, or does it revolve for maintenance? Maintenance is hers. You protection and provision. Let her put the babies to bed while you worry about how to get the checkbook balance. Think it'll work better in the future. And here's the thing. Just because we didn't learn it growing up or didn't see it growing up doesn't mean we can't correct it and do better next time.
Absolutely.
All right, Chief. Later.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. So, yeah, man, that whole pressure's made for shoulders, not hips. Been there, done that. Gentlemen, if women are getting into the masculine, ask yourself a question. What is there something in the masculine purview that's in her space? And I would say to black men in particular, because so many of us was raised with mama, and we were raised learning how to cook and clean and do stuff. A lot of brothers feel lazy sitting on the couch watching the women do all the stuff while they're there. And sometimes we're going to be like, you can help me. I'll say something about the first part. Just stay out of the house. Because when you're sitting on the couch, she probably will help me with these kids. Just stay out the house. And you come back home, I'm tired. These kids got me run out. She'll be happy. Some people call it chauvinist, misogynist. I don't know, it just makes good sense.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah.
That's exactly what they'll call it. The new feminist movement, chauvinist. You chauvinist. How dare you?
It's God's beat maker.
And I don't know. I haven't put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto, you